The hangar was silent except for the echo of slow footsteps. Rows of shining ships rested under the white lights, each one a masterpiece of alien engineering. But in the far corner, hidden behind crates and dust, sat something different, something old, rusted and broken. Its hull was cracked, wires hung like vines, and one of its engines was missing half its parts. The alien engineers called it the wreck. "Why don't we just melt it down?" one of them said, shaking his silver head. "It's a waste of space," another laughed. "It's a human ship. They built it centuries ago before they joined the Alliance. No one needs such junk now." Their laughter echoed through the hangar, but none of them noticed the tall human standing quietly near the door. His name was Captain Aaron Hale, a retired pilot who had seen more battles than most could imagine. He had flown through wars, storms, and deep space anomalies, but what stood before him now wasn't just a wreck to him. It was home. Aaron slowly walked toward the ship, brushing his hand along the damaged metal. "Hello, old girl," he whispered. The ship's name, half scratched but still readable, glowed faintly under the dust. Valkyrie. To the aliens, it was a useless machine. To Aaron, it was history, a reminder of courage, loss, and something greater than technology, human spirit. When he requested permission to restore the Valkyrie, the hangar chief looked surprised. "You want to fix that thing? It's dead metal, Captain. Even our best techs wouldn't waste time on it." Aaron smiled calmly. "Then I won't waste their time. I'll do it myself." The chief tilted his head, puzzled. "You, alone?" "Humans have a thing for lost causes," Aaron replied. And so they gave him clearance. The first few days were difficult. The air smelled of oil and dust, and tools slipped from his tired hands. The ship's control core was half burned, its navigation system gone. Every bolt he turned revealed another layer of damage, but each night Aaron stayed longer, humming old Earth tunes while he worked. He spoke to the ship like an old friend. "You've still got fight left in you," he said one night, tightening a bolt. "You just need someone to believe in you again." The aliens began to watch from afar. Some shook their heads. Others were curious. One young alien named Tarek approached him one evening. "Captain Hale," he said in his soft, musical voice, "why do you spend so much effort on that wreck?" "The Alliance builds ships 100 times better now." Aaron didn't stop working. "Because it's not just a ship," he replied. "It's a story. Humans built this when we barely knew the stars. It carried people who didn't give up, even when everything around them said to stop." Tarek tilted his head. "You mean, like you?" Aaron chuckled. "Maybe." Days turned into weeks. Aaron scavenged old parts, traded favors, and even reprogrammed outdated circuits with human-made chips that most aliens considered obsolete. He burned his hands. He lost sleep, but slowly something changed. The Valkyrie began to wake up. Lights flickered faintly across the control board. The engine gave a soft hum for the first time in a century. It was weak, shaky, but alive. Aaron smiled as he sat in the pilot seat again. "Welcome back," he said softly. By the end of the third week, the hangar that once mocked him now gathered in silence as the human continued his work. The ship's wings had been patched, its engines rebuilt using hybrid parts that no one thought would fit. Tarek watched in awe. "You mixed human and alien tech?" Aaron nodded. "Sometimes you just have to make things talk to each other. Machines aren't so different from people." On the 30th day, the final test came. The ship's power core was unstable, and one mistake could destroy it all. The aliens offered him new energy cells, but Aaron refused. "No," he said. "She started human. She'll rise human." He adjusted the old reactor settings manually, his hands steady despite the sparks flying around him. Sweat ran down his face as alarms beeped wildly. "Come on, Valkyrie," he whispered. "You've done this before." The lights dimmed. Then suddenly the entire hangar trembled with a deep roar. The ship's engines blazed with blue fire, shaking the floor. The aliens stepped back in shock. Tarek shouted, "It's alive!" Aaron laughed, eyes gleaming with pride. Alive and roaring again. When the noise finally settled, the hangar was filled with silence once more, but this time, it was a silence of awe. The ship that everyone called a wreck now stood shining with new life. Its wings gleamed silver under the lights, and the human flag on its side was freshly painted. Aaron stood at the base of the ramp, wiping his hands. "She's ready to fly." The chief walked closer, disbelief in his eyes. "I don't understand." "How did you?" Aaron simply smiled. We don't give up easy. That night, when everyone had gone, Aaron sat inside the Valkyrie's cockpit. He looked out into the stars beyond the hangar door. You and me, old girl, he said quietly. They called you a wreck. Let's show them what a human touch can do. The ship hummed in reply, lights flickering like a heartbeat. And for the first time in decades, the human ship felt alive again. The next morning, the hangar was filled with quiet whispers. Every worker, every engineer, and every officer who had once mocked the human ship now stared at it with wide eyes. The Valkyrie stood proud, shining under the white lights. Her engines hummed with a deep rhythmic sound that made the metal floor tremble slightly. It wasn't just noise, it was a heartbeat. Captain Aaron Hale stood at the base of the ramp checking his tools one last time. His uniform was old and worn, his hands covered with small burns and oil stains, but his eyes were bright with pride. Tarek, the young alien who had been watching him since the start, walked up holding a datapad. Captain Hale, he said, the council has heard about what you did. They want a test flight. Aaron raised an eyebrow. Already? Tarek nodded. They say if your ship flies, they'll allow you to join the patrol fleet again. Aaron smiled faintly. So that's what this is about. They still don't believe she can fly. They don't, Tarek admitted softly. But I do. Aaron's smile grew warmer. Then let's show them. The preparations took all morning. Technicians inspected the hangar shields. Others checked safety lines. The ship's old systems had to be synchronized with the station's computers, something that had never been done before. Inside the cockpit, Aaron sat in the pilot's chair, his fingers brushing the controls. Everything felt familiar, the seat, the switches, even the faint hum of the power core. He took a deep breath. Let's wake up, Valkyrie, he whispered. The main screen flickered on, glowing softly. A calm female voice echoed through the cabin, robotic but warm. System online. Welcome back, Captain Hale. Aaron froze. He hadn't heard that voice in years. It was the Valkyrie's old AI, ELI-7, designed in the early days of human space travel. You're still alive, old friend? He said with a smile. Systems damaged but functional, the AI replied. Status, repaired with unauthorized components. Aaron chuckled. That's what keeps you interesting. Outside, the alien engineers were nervous. Human ships don't mix well with our power systems, one warned. If it overloads, it could blow half the hangar. But Tarek stood near the observation deck, his eyes fixed on the glowing ship. He knows what he's doing, he said quietly. The hangar lights dimmed as the engines powered up. A deep roar filled the chamber, steady, powerful, alive. Flames of blue and silver danced behind the Valkyrie as the ship began to rise slowly from the ground. Aaron gripped the controls. Steady, girl. Let's take it slow. Dust and air swirled as the ship lifted higher, the landing pads folding in with a smooth metallic sound. Every alien in the room froze as the ship hovered perfectly still, its engines glowing like stars. She's stable, Tarek whispered in awe. Then, with a gentle push of the throttle, Aaron guided the Valkyrie forward. The hangar gates opened, revealing the endless darkness of space beyond. The moment the ship crossed the threshold, silence filled the cockpit. Only the soft hum of the engine remained. Stars stretched endlessly around them, shining like distant fires. Aaron looked out and smiled. Still beautiful as ever. Navigation systems online, the AI reported. Coordinates? Let's just take a short ride first, Aaron said. We've been asleep too long, the Valkyrie responded instantly. The thrusters glowed brighter, and the ship soared into open space. The speed was smooth, almost effortless. It felt alive again. Back at the station, the alien controllers stared at their screens in disbelief. Unbelievable, one said. That ship was declared unsalvageable 50 years ago. Tarek smiled proudly. Humans don't throw things away. They fix them. In the cockpit, Aaron tested every system carefully, navigation, shields, and weapons, though they were weak. He was satisfied. Not bad for something they called a wreck, he said proudly. But then a sudden alarm flashed across the console. Warning, unknown energy detected. Aaron frowned. ELI, what's that? Energy reading consistent with gravitational disturbance. Possible micro-wormhole forming nearby. Aaron's eyes widened. That's impossible. This region is supposed to be stable. Correction, said ELI. Stability compromised. The ship shook violently as a swirl of blue light appeared ahead. Space itself seemed to twist and bend like water. Inside the control center, the aliens panicked. "The human's ship is caught in a rift," shouted one officer. "We have to pull him back." Tarek shouted, "Open a channel!" "Captain Hale, do you read?" Aaron's voice came through the static, calm but urgent. "The Valkyrie's caught in a gravity pull. I can't hold her steady." Tarek's hands trembled. "We're sending a rescue beacon." "No time," Aaron replied. "If this closes, the station could be damaged. I'll divert it away. You'll be pulled in." Aaron smiled faintly. "Better one ship than a whole station." The Valkyrie spun as the wormhole expanded. Aaron's hands moved quickly across the controls, rerouting power from the shields to the thrusters. The old engine screamed, but the ship responded. "ELI, redirect auxiliary power to stabilizers." "Acknowledged." The stars blurred outside the cockpit window as the ship turned sharply. The wormhole's pull lessened slightly, but not enough. Then Aaron had an idea. "ELI, can the secondary drive handle an energy dump? Risk of overload, 98%. Do it anyway." "Confirmed." A sudden burst of energy shot from the rear engines, pushing the Valkyrie upward. The wormhole twisted violently, collapsing in on itself. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the stars changed. Aaron blinked. "Eli, where are we?" "Scanning." "Unknown region. No known star charts match current coordinates." He looked out. Instead of familiar constellations, there was a red nebula glowing in the distance. Strange fragments of metal floated nearby, wreckage from unknown ships. Aaron leaned back in his chair, whispering, "We're not in Alliance space anymore." Hours later, the Valkyrie drifted quietly through the red mist. Aaron checked the systems. The power levels were low and the navigation data was scrambled. He sighed. "Well, old girl, looks like we took a long detour. Recommendation, locate nearby energy source for recharge." Aaron nodded. "Good idea." The sensors soon picked up a faint signal. It wasn't human or alien, but something else entirely. As he steered the ship toward the source, he saw it, a massive floating structure half buried in the nebula. It looked ancient, built from dark metal and strange runes that glowed faintly. "Eli," he said softly. "What is that?" "Unknown origin. Energy readings suggest extreme age. And power." Aaron stared at the massive structure. "Looks like we found someone's forgotten secret." Back at the station, chaos filled the command room. The human ship vanished. One officer cried. "There's no trace of it!" Tarek clenched his fists. "No, he's not gone. He's out there somewhere." He looked at the stars through the viewport and whispered, "Come back, Captain Hale. Show them again what humans can do." Inside the Valkyrie, Aaron watched as the strange structure loomed closer. The ship's lights flickered again as the mysterious signal grew stronger. Suddenly, the AI spoke, her tone deeper than before. "Captain, this technology, it predates every known civilization." "Caution advised," Aaron smiled softly. "After all we've been through, you still think I listen to warnings?" "Observation? Human stubbornness remains consistent." He laughed quietly. "That's what keeps us alive." The Valkyrie glided closer, the ship's sensors scanning the dark metal surface. Strange lights began to move along the walls of the ancient structure, as if waking from a long sleep. Aaron leaned forward, eyes wide. "Oh no," he murmured. "It's responding to us." The ship shook slightly, and the main screen flickered again, showing symbols no one had seen for thousands of years. "Captain Hale," Eli said softly, "I think we just found something that was never meant to be found." Aaron stared at the glowing symbols, feeling both awe and fear. "Then let's find out what it is." The Valkyrie moved deeper into the nebula, engines humming like a heartbeat, and somewhere in the darkness, the ancient structure began to stir. The red nebula glowed softly around the Valkyrie. As it drifted toward the ancient structure, the ship looked small compared to the massive floating ruin, which stretched for miles in every direction. Its dark surface shimmered with strange lights that moved like veins of energy under the metal skin. Captain Aaron Hale sat quietly in the pilot's chair, his eyes fixed on the sight before him. The mysterious structure looked lifeless at first, but something deep within it felt awake, watching. "Eli," Aaron said slowly, "how close can we get before our systems start to react?" The AI's voice replied calmly, though the tone carried a faint echo. "Energy interference increasing. Recommend maintaining distance of 5 kilometers." Aaron shook his head. We've come too far to just stare from a distance. Warning. Entering unknown energy field may cause system failure. Aaron smiled faintly. Wouldn't be the first time. With a gentle push on the controls, the Valkyrie moved closer. The ship's lights flickered as it entered the field. Sparks of blue light danced across the hull like tiny lightning bolts. The control panels blinked, and for a moment the entire ship shuddered. Power levels fluctuating, Eli warned. Aaron gritted his teeth and adjusted the settings manually. Hold together, girl. Just a little more. The structure's surface began to open slowly, revealing a massive circular gate. A soft beam of golden light shone outward, touching the Valkyrie gently like an invitation. Aaron's heart pounded. Eli, it's opening a door for us. Unknown intention. Caution advised. Let's see where this door leads. As the Valkyrie entered the gate, everything outside changed. The stars disappeared. The red nebula vanished. They were suddenly inside a hollow space, an enormous metallic chamber that looked like the heart of a sleeping giant. Dozens of glowing symbols floated in the air, moving like slow fireflies. The walls pulsed with light and rhythm as if breathing. Aaron's voice was quiet. This isn't a ruin. It's alive. Detecting weak energy signals throughout structure, Eli confirmed. It may be some kind of ancient machine. Aaron stepped away from the pilot's seat and looked out through the front glass. Maybe it's waiting for someone to wake it up. In the control center, deep inside the Valkyrie, one of the old consoles began to blink. A strange pattern appeared, lines and circles forming symbols that Eli couldn't decode. Captain, the AI said, I am receiving transmissions from the structure. Unknown language. Attempting translation, Aaron nodded. Patch it through. For a few seconds, there was only static. Then a soft, echoing voice filled the cockpit. It wasn't human or alien. It sounded ancient, like wind passing through metal. Traveler, you carry the spark of the old makers. Aaron froze. Did it just talk? Affirmative, said Eli. Signal matches direct communication frequency. It is addressing us, the voice continued. The makers who reached the stars. They are gone. Yet their echo remains in you. Aaron frowned. The makers? You mean humans? The voice replied. You are of their kind. The ones who dared to rise from dust. You awaken what sleeps. Aaron exchanged a glance with the glowing console. Who are you? I am the Sentinel, the voice said. Guardian of the gate. You have entered the resting place of the first travelers. Aaron's heart raced. Could it be true? Could this be a relic from the earliest spacefaring species? The ones who might have seeded knowledge across the galaxy? He took a deep breath. Sentinel, we mean no harm. We found you by accident. No accident, the voice replied. The echo called you. Only those with the spark can hear it. Spark? Aaron asked, confused. The will to rebuild what is lost. Aaron smiled softly. Then I guess that's us. Suddenly, the lights around the chamber grew brighter. The walls shifted slightly, forming shapes that looked like doors or tunnels. Eli reported rising power levels. Captain, the structure's core is awakening. Energy readings are climbing fast. Aaron steadied himself. Sentinel, what's happening? The gate remembers. The last of the makers have returned. The heart must open once more. Before Aaron could respond, the entire structure began to shake. A beam of light shot out from its center, scanning the Valkyrie from top to bottom. The old ship groaned under the pressure, but Aaron refused to turn back. Eli, hold shields at 30%, he ordered. We can take it. Acknowledged. The beam dimmed after a few seconds, and the shaking stopped. The Sentinel spoke again, softer this time. You have proven your courage. The gate recognizes your will. The echo is now yours. The main console lit up again. A new data pattern appeared, flowing into the ship's systems like a river of light. Eli's voice shifted slightly, deeper, stronger. Captain, the ship's AI core is evolving. The structure is merging data with us. Aaron's eyes widened. You mean it's upgrading you? In a way. My understanding of star navigation, energy control, and structural physics has increased by 200%. Aaron laughed in disbelief. Well, that's a nice gift for waking up an ancient machine. But deep inside, he knew this was more than a simple upgrade. The Sentinel had recognized something human, something powerful. Back in the Alliance station, Tarek stood at the observation deck, staring into the same patch of stars where the Valkyrie had vanished days ago. He refused to believe the human was gone. Every report said the ship had been lost, but Tarek kept searching the readings for any trace. Suddenly, one of the scanners blinked, a faint signal. Wait, he whispered. That frequency, It's human. The officer beside him looked up. That's impossible. There's no way, Tarek smiled. It's Captain Hale, he's alive. Inside the structure, Aaron began testing the ship's systems. Everything was smoother now, faster, more responsive. Even the sound of the engines felt alive. ELI run a system check. All systems operational. Power efficiency increased by 60%. Shield capacity tripled. Propulsion upgraded. Aaron whistled softly. You're not just alive anymore, Valkyrie. You're something new. Correction, ELI said, her voice now carrying a strange melody. We are something new. Aaron smiled. Fair enough. He looked around the glowing chamber. Sentinel, what do you want us to do now? The Echo must return to the stars. There are others who sleep. The Maker's dream must continue. Aaron nodded slowly. You're asking us to wake the rest? Yes, the path will be dangerous. But you carry the will to rebuild. Aaron looked at the stars visible through the opening above the structure. Then we'll find them. One by one. As the Valkyrie prepared to leave, the Sentinel's voice echoed one last time. Human, you remind the galaxy why the Makers were feared and admired. You see hope where others see ruins. Aaron chuckled softly. Guess we've always been stubborn that way. Go, child of Earth. The stars remember your kind. With a final flash of light, the massive gate opened, revealing a tunnel of golden energy that stretched far into the cosmos. Aaron sat in the pilot's chair, hands on the controls. Ready, ELI? Ready, Captain. Destination unknown, he grinned. That's the best kind. The Valkyrie's engines roared to life, brighter and louder than ever. The small ship shot forward into the tunnel, leaving behind the ancient structure that slowly went silent once again. As they sped through the glowing corridor, Aaron felt something strange, a sense of connection not just to his ship, but to something far greater. For the first time in centuries, a human had reawakened the technology of the first travelers, and somewhere in the distance something else was stirring in response. ELI spoke quietly. Captain, multiple signals detected ahead. I believe we are not alone. Aaron smiled, his eyes gleaming with determination. Then let's meet whoever's waiting. The Valkyrie soared into the light, leaving a trail of blue fire behind. A ship once called a wreck, now carrying the spark of the human spirit once again. The Valkyrie shot through the golden tunnel like a streak of light, its engines humming softly. Captain Aaron Hale sat calmly in the pilot's chair, his eyes fixed on the glowing path ahead. The tunnel shimmered with strange symbols that moved like living stars, and every few seconds, waves of gentle energy brushed against the ship's hull. The voice of ELI, the Valkyrie's AI, filled the cabin. Captain, this corridor is not ordinary space. We are traveling through an ancient transportation network. Aaron frowned slightly. A network? You mean this thing connects different parts of the galaxy? Correct, ELI said. I believe it was built by the same makers who created the Sentinel. Aaron leaned back in his chair. So we're following the same path they once took. Yes, and the signals we detected earlier are growing stronger. We are approaching another gateway. Aaron smiled. Then let's see what's waiting for us. After several hours of smooth travel, the tunnel opened into a vast region of open space. What Aaron saw made him gasp quietly. In front of them floated dozens, no hundreds of silent ships. They were ancient and enormous, their hulls made of dark metal that shimmered faintly under the light of distant stars. Some were broken, others still intact. Each one carried the same markings Aaron had seen inside the Sentinel's chamber. ELI's voice was soft. Captain, these are not just ships. They are part of a fleet, the lost armada of the first travelers. Aaron's eyes widened. A whole fleet just waiting out here? Yes, ELI confirmed. Power signatures are faint but stable. I believe they entered stasis mode long ago. Aaron stared at the giant ships in awe. Each one could have carried thousands of people. The thought that they had slept here untouched for ages sent chills down his spine. We found them, he whispered. The lost fleet. For a long moment, neither Aaron nor ELI spoke. The Valkyrie floated silently among the giants. Then ELI said, Captain, the data received from the Sentinel includes activation codes. I believe these ships can be reawakened. Aaron looked at the controls. You mean we could bring them back online? Possibly, but it will require direct connection. The codes must be transmitted manually. Aaron smiled. Then it's time for a little hands-on work. The Valkyrie landed gently on one of the nearest ships. Its hull was covered in dust and frozen debris, but the metal beneath still shone faintly. Aaron suited up in his space gear and stepped out through the airlock. The silence of space surrounded him completely. Each step echoed through his helmet speakers. He looked up at the towering structure. It was like walking on the back of a sleeping giant. "Eli," he said, "open the interface panel near the main power conduit." A small light appeared on his visor, marking the location. He walked toward it, brushing frost from the surface. Beneath it was a circular panel with glowing lines. "All right, let's wake you up," he said softly. He placed his hand on the panel. The glove's scanner blinked as Eli transmitted the activation code. For a second, nothing happened. Then slowly, the lights under his hand began to glow brighter. The ship hummed softly, vibrations moving through the metal beneath his feet. "Captain," Eli said with calm excitement. "Systems are responding, power levels rising." Aaron took a step back. Across the massive hull, lines of light began to spread outward like rivers of gold. One by one, the ship's engines lit up with soft blue flames. He smiled. "She's alive." Then something unexpected happened. As the first ship awoke, the others began to respond as well. The same golden light rippled across the silent fleet. Engines rumbled to life, hulls glowed, and the entire region of space filled with soft thunder. Aaron's heart pounded. "They're linked together. One activation is waking them all." "Confirmed," Eli replied. "Fleet synchronization protocols active." Aaron watched in awe as hundreds of ships lit up across the void. It looked like a city of stars being reborn. "Eli," he whispered, "this is the Echo Fleet. The Sentinel said we'd carry the spark, and now it's spreading." Hours passed as Aaron moved from ship to ship, confirming power stability and communication links. The fleet began forming a network, each ship sending energy data to the Valkyrie. "Captain," Eli said, "these ships were once designed to protect colonies across the galaxy. Their technology is advanced, but many systems remain dormant. Can we control them?" Aaron asked. "Partially. The Valkyrie is being recognized as the command unit. They're responding to our signal." Aaron chuckled softly. "So the old girl's now leading a fleet of giants?" "Affirmative," Eli replied. Back in the Alliance station, news of Aaron's faint signal had spread across the command center. Tarek couldn't sleep. He had spent every day trying to track the human's last coordinates. When a small transmission appeared on his screen, his heart nearly stopped. "Captain Hale?" he whispered. The signal was weak, but it was there. A familiar voice came through the static. "Tarek, if you can hear this, tell the Council humanity's spark is alive. We found something. Something big." Tarek grinned widely. He did it. He actually did it. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Valkyrie floated before the massive awakened fleet. Aaron stood in the cockpit looking at the glowing ships. "Eli, can we establish communication between them?" "Working on it." The AI paused, then continued. "Captain, I am detecting an incoming message. From the fleet itself." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "From the fleet?" The main screen lit up with flowing symbols, then translated text appeared. "Command recognized. Awaiting orders from the new bearer of the Echo." Aaron took a deep breath. He had never thought a single man could command something so vast. "Tell them," he said slowly. "The Maker's dream isn't over. We're bringing it back." Suddenly, a new alarm blinked on the screen. "Captain," Eli warned. "Unidentified ships approaching. Energy signatures match modern Alliance warships." Aaron frowned. They must have tracked the activation signal. Moments later, 3 sleek silver ships appeared near the edge of the fleet. A communication channel opened and a stern alien voice filled the cockpit. "Unidentified human vessel, this is Commander Zarin of the Alliance. You are trespassing in restricted space. Power down immediately," Aaron sighed. "Here we go again." He opened the channel. "Commander Zarin, this is Captain Aaron Hale, Alliance retired. I'm not trespassing. I'm reviving something that belongs to all of us." The alien on the screen looked confused. "Reviving? What are you talking about?" Aaron gestured toward the window. "Take a look." Zarin turned and his eyes widened as the entire Echo fleet glowed behind the Valkyrie. "That's impossible," the commander whispered. "Those are myth, ancient tales from before our recorded history." Aaron smiled. "Not myths, just sleeping giants." The alien ships scanned the fleet, trying to understand what they were seeing. Aaron continued calmly. "These ships belonged to the first travelers, the ones who built the way for every species to follow. The Valkyrie was the key. Zaren's tone softened. And now? Now, Aaron said, they're awake, and they're ready to protect again. The commander paused for a long time before speaking. Captain Hale, the council will want to speak with you. They'll either praise you or fear what you've found. Aaron smiled faintly. They always do both. The communication ended, but the threat of misunderstanding still hung in the air. Eli spoke quietly. Captain, shall I prepare defensive protocols? Aaron looked out at the stars. No, not yet. Let's show them we came in peace. He activated a wideband broadcast. His voice spread through the communication channels of every ship within range. This is Captain Aaron Hale of the human vessel Valkyrie. The Echo Fleet has been reawakened. These ships are not weapons, they are a message from the past. They remind us that we are all children of the same stars. We can rebuild together or we can repeat the same mistakes. For a moment there was only silence. Then one by one the Alliance ships lowered their weapons. As the stars glimmered outside, the Valkyrie hovered at the center of the vast fleet. Hundreds of ancient ships now floated in formation behind her, glowing like lanterns across the void. Eli's voice was calm. Captain, the Echo Fleet awaits your next command. Aaron smiled softly. Then we set a course for home. It's time to show the galaxy that the human spirit and the dream of the Makers still lives. The Valkyrie's engines flared to life once more. The entire fleet followed, moving in perfect harmony. And as they began their long journey back, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, honoring the human who made the wreck roar again. The Valkyrie glided through the stars with silent pride. Behind her, the Echo Fleet moved like a shining storm, hundreds of ancient ships reborn, flying in perfect unity. The stars reflected on their hulls, making them look like living constellations. Inside the cockpit, Captain Aaron Hale sat calmly in the pilot's chair. His eyes, though tired, burned with quiet determination. Eli, he said, how long until we reach Alliance space? Approximately 6 hours at current speed, replied the ship's AI. But Captain, Alliance fleets are already moving toward us. They appear uncertain about our intentions. Aaron smiled faintly. That's understandable. We're bringing an army of ghosts back to life. As the hours passed, the Echo Fleet remained in silent formation. Each ship moved with grace, their engines glowing softly. The old technology blended with new energy, guided by the Valkyrie's command signal. Aaron walked to the observation window. Seeing those great vessels behind him gave him a feeling of awe and a deep sense of responsibility. Eli, he said quietly, how many people do you think built these ships? Millions, perhaps, Eli replied. The Makers' civilization spanned hundreds of worlds. The fleet was their greatest creation and their final hope. Aaron nodded slowly. Then we'll make sure their hope wasn't wasted. Soon, distant signals began flashing on the radar. The Alliance ships had arrived, thousands of modern vessels forming a defensive wall. Their formation surrounded the incoming fleet like a great silver ring. Eli reported, We are being hailed, Captain. It is Commander Zaren again. Aaron nodded. Let's hear him. The holographic image of the alien commander appeared in front of him. Zaren looked uneasy, his long silver eyes reflecting light from his control room. Captain Hale, he said firmly, you are approaching restricted space with an unknown armada. The Council demands an explanation. Aaron smiled slightly. An explanation? That's fair. Tell them this, the past is not dead. It's here and it wants to help. Zaren frowned. You expect us to believe that this ancient fleet is peaceful? Aaron turned, pointing toward the window. These ships were built to protect life, not destroy it. The data from the Sentinel proves it. They responded to a call that says defend the spark. There was a moment of silence before Zaren spoke again. The Council is nervous. Some fear these ships could threaten the balance of power. Aaron laughed softly. Power? You think this is about power? This is about unity, Commander. The Makers didn't build these ships for one species. They built them for everyone. Zaren hesitated. Then he asked, what do you want us to do? Aaron took a deep breath. Let me land. Let me show the Council the truth. If they still think this fleet is a danger, I'll shut it down myself. The communication ended. For several minutes, there was no reply. The Echo Fleet waited silently, their engines glowing like calm fire. Finally, Eli said, Permission granted, Captain. We are being allowed to enter Alliance territory under escort. Aaron smiled. Good. Then let's bring the roar home. The journey into Alliance space was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Civilian ships across hundreds of systems stopped what they were doing just to watch the sky. Children pointed as they saw the Golden Fleet pass above them. Traders, miners, and travelers all stood silent as the ancient vessels crossed the stars. For the first time in centuries, hope felt real again. At the Alliance Council Station, thousands of leaders gathered to witness the arrival. Their great chamber was filled with voices and light. Screens showed the image of the Valkyrie leading the glowing fleet. One counselor, a tall reptilian figure named Senator Thrakos, slammed his clawed hand on the table.
This is madness.
The human has awakened a forgotten weapon. He could destroy us all. Another, a soft-voiced avian delegate, shook her head. You speak of fear. I see something else. I see courage. That fleet was sleeping for ages, waiting for someone brave enough to believe again. The room filled with debate until the main door opened. Aaron Hale entered, dressed in his simple flight uniform. His face showed calm strength. Every eye turned to him. Aaron stood before the Council's great circle. Members of the Alliance, he began. You see before you not a threat, but a miracle. These ships are older than any of us. They were built when our ancestors first looked at the stars and dreamed of peace. He paused, then added, I didn't wake them to fight. I woke them because we've forgotten what the stars mean. We've grown afraid of each other. The makers didn't fear. They hoped. The room was silent. Zarin, who had taken his seat among the military representatives, stood slowly. Captain Hale, he said, what proof do you have that this fleet means peace? Aaron nodded toward the window behind him. Through the transparent wall, the Echo fleet could be seen in perfect formation, their lights pulsing softly in rhythm. Proof, Aaron said quietly. They could have destroyed us the moment they woke. Instead, they waited for orders, and when I spoke, they chose to follow a message of peace. That's the proof. One by one, the counselors began to whisper among themselves. Then the avian delegate rose. If this is true, then perhaps the human deserves to command the fleet, at least until we understand its purpose. Thrakos growled, but said nothing. The council chairperson, an ancient robotic being whose memory dated back centuries, finally spoke. Captain Aaron Hale, the council grants you temporary command of the Echo fleet. Use it wisely. If you misuse this gift, you will answer to us all. Aaron bowed his head respectfully. Understood. I'll earn your trust, and theirs. Back on the Valkyrie, Eli's voice sounded almost proud. Congratulations, Captain. You now officially command the most powerful fleet in recorded history. Aaron chuckled. Let's hope I don't have to use it. Unlikely, Captain, Eli replied. But history tends to repeat itself. Aaron's smile faded slightly. Then we'll just have to write a better ending this time. Days turned into weeks. The Echo fleet was studied, mapped, and connected to modern systems. Engineers from across the galaxy came to learn from the old designs. The Valkyrie became a symbol, a reminder that even forgotten things could rise again. But peace is never simple. One day, Eli's sensors picked up strange readings at the edge of known space. Captain, I am detecting distortions similar to the energy that powered the Echo fleet. Aaron frowned. You mean there's another source? Yes, but this one is unstable. If it continues to grow, it could tear through nearby star systems. Aaron's decision was instant. Alert the council. We're going in. Within hours, the Echo fleet moved once more. Their engines roared like thunder across the void. Every world watched as the great golden ship set out again. This time, not to fight, but to save. As they reached the edge of the disturbance, Aaron saw the cause, a massive rift in space twisting like a storm. Energy arcs flashed around it, threatening to swallow everything nearby. Eli, can we contain it? Possibly. If we link the Echo fleet's energy fields together, we could stabilize the rift. Do it. The command spread through the fleet. Giant ships moved into position, their glowing cores connecting through golden beams. The entire sky lit up as ancient power returned once more. Aaron gripped the controls. Hold steady. Just a little longer. The rift screamed and pulsed, but the light of the Echo fleet held strong. Slowly, the violent storm began to shrink until at last it collapsed into a single point of light, then vanished completely. Silence filled space. Then Eli spoke softly. Containment successful, Captain. The region is stable. Aaron exhaled in relief. We did it. Correction, Eli said with a hint of warmth. You did it, Captain. The human spirit made it possible. Back on the Alliance station, crowds gathered to watch the broadcast. Across dozens of worlds, people cheered the name Valkyrie. Children waved holographic flags, and the Council officially declared the day as Echo Day, a reminder of hope, unity, and courage. Aaron watched the celebrations from his ship's window. For once, he felt peace. Eli asked quietly, "What now, Captain?" Aaron smiled faintly. "Now, we keep moving forward. The galaxy has slept long enough. It's time to make it roar again." The Valkyrie's engines flared to life, leading the Golden Fleet across the stars, and as they vanished into the horizon, the heavens echoed with the same silent promise, that even when all hope seems lost, a single human can still make the universe roar once more.